Welcome to Martini Time on this beautiful Sunday in the last week of November. And today's been a lot of energy today because Thanksgiving just kind of like broke up a lot of ice in my life. And when you break up the ice, the water flows. The water flows. Energy flows. That's how you know you break the ice up. So isn't this a nice glass? I thought they were porpoise, but it's sharks, my son said. Trained sharks. So, let's talk about, I just created a new blog category. By the way, if you want to catch up on my martini talks, go to tokillaminotaur.com, like in Theseus and the Minotaur and the Labyrinth, tokillaminotaur.com, and there I have all my martini times. And I also created a new category called the Wheel of Koans, Koans. A koan is a Zen practice where the Zen master gives you a puzzle, a spiritual puzzle, a mental quagmire, because your logic and your intellect can't crack it, and it becomes a hot ball of iron in your throat that you can't swallow or cough up. You know, like when you can't remember a word of some movie star, or you can't catch that word in the crossword puzzle that's just on the tip of your tongue. You know it's there, but you can't get it. So the more you try, the more you can't remember it. That's a koan. So the Wheel of Koans is about the koans that are sprinkled in our everyday life like walnuts from a black walnut tree. We have a couple in our yard, and my daughter's here, and she's been putting them in a bucket, laying them out in the barn or shed. We don't have a barn, so they can dry, and when she comes back here for Christmas, she can crack the koans. Black walnuts are very hard to crack. Squirrels are masters, but it's really hard to crack them. And you get this stain all over your hands, and you have to wear gloves because they're sharp, you see. And so that's kind of like what a Zen koan is, you know. It's a dilemma. A Zen koan is a dilemma in your life that you keep repeating. It's a double bind where everything you do is lose-lose. And the more you try to get out of it, the more vows you make, the more promises you say to not do it again, you do it again. Just when you think you're free, you do it again. It comes up and eats you like a hungry fish. When conditions are right, your koan will rise. And you can't crack it. So, but you know you can, but you can't. So a lot of our life is spent trying to crack these black walnuts. I think God maybe just is a big walnut tree dropping koans in our life to give us something to do. And when you can crack the koan, you get the sweet energy inside, and you are energized, you're creative, you can love again. You have energy to do things, you clean up the barn, you do projects, you paint that little spot that's been there for 2 years since you painted the room. You got the energy because you freed it, you see. The koan, the dilemma, the double bind, locks our energy up in a feedback loop. Wah, 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 wah. You know, when you stick a mic up against the amplifier, it goes wah, wah, wah. Turn it off, you see. Well, when a dilemma arises, a ritual behavior that sucks up our energy and makes us say things that we regret or that we when a double bind is going to be either trying to free yourself from what you think someone else is doing to you or the world is doing you, or from what you're doing to yourself. Either way, you're going to blame the world or yourself, and that's why you can't get out. But that's, to go in. But anyway, I created a category on my blog of the Wheel of Koans where I can post koans that I'm working on, or that something comes up in my Facebook dialogues where I'm working on a koan with somebody. or the politics. They're everywhere. Well, black walnut cones are everywhere. And we don't know how to crack them because you can't crack them with logic. They are not logical, you see. But we think everything can be solved by logic, by thought, by conceptual, by the known, by some method. You can't crack a cone with a method. You can't crack it with logic. You can't crack it with what you know. Nobody can tell you how to crack it. You can't find it in a book, you see, because the cone demands your creative response to it. And creativity means that you have to see something you never saw before. Creative sight is what the cone is asking you to do, to creative sight, which means you have to connect the dead dots. See, we're always connecting the visible dots. Like when you have a puzzle, picture dots, they're visible. You connect them. But a cone is cracked by connecting the dots you can't see. So the cone invites you, your intuitive mind, it invites your intuitive mind to connect the dots that you don't see to connect because all you're operating in is within the known dots. So the dilemma that invites our evolution of consciousness to open up our potential is always by connecting dots that we can't see. Yet we know they're there, so when the master gives you a cone, you know the dots are there that will connect the picture and make you go, aha, I see it. So you know it's there, and so you struggle. It's like when you get a picture and you say, can you see the monkey in the dot, in the black, in the ink? And you struggle. This one here. Can you see the old woman and the young woman? You see, connect the dots. I was put this up here, and one lady said, I can't see the old woman. You know, and so, and I said, well, keep trying, it's there. And she got tired. So anyway, I put this up because I'm really interested in cones. And that's what I do in my life. And cone cracking requires that you crack them in your life. If you crack a cone in your life, you can help other people crack cones. Be a cone cracker, you see. When you know, but you can't, there's no method to it. That's the thing. It's always a discovery. If I'm in relationship with you and we're working on a cone, I don't know how to crack it. But the relationship, the intention of seeing the dead dots, cracks the cone. I see, you see. So cones are cracked in relationships where you have a cone cracker and somebody with a cone, and you both have the intention of discovering this cone that has not been cracked, and you have to see what has never been seen before. So it's a creative relationship. It's a dynamic relationship, you see. So, we'll see how this goes. I just, as I said, I've cracked some cones this Thanksgiving, and I've got all this energy, and I'm ready to expand. And so I want to expand my internet face, or my internet presentation, or what I do here. I have a lot of friends. I have 460 of you friends. And I have a blog which gets a few viewers, you see. But I'm really interested in trying to bottle in an internet, and I can't call it a course, but an internet dialogue where more people can be involved in this great adventure of cracking the cones in your life. And I need to make some money. I mean, I'm on Social Security. My wife's on Social Security, and we're kind of like living from month to month, so I could use a little extra income. But that's beside the point. What I'm really interested in doing is creating a bottle to hold the lightning bug of spontaneity. And that's not easy. This will be an invention. A bottle that holds spontaneity. A bottle that holds the blinking light of, oh, I see it. The light comes on, I see it. And the light's off, I don't see it. The light comes on, oh, I see it. And then I don't see it, you see. How can I bottle that? If you have any opinions, let me know. Something with a membership? I don't know. There are a lot of different combinations out there. I just wrote a letter to someone, this internet design or course designer who's been bugging me, and I like his mind and where he's at, you know. So I asked him for some suggestions. But anyway, I'm open to insight and suggestions. So anyway, my bell rang. My daughter told me, you need to break your talks down to 10 minutes. And I say, okay, well, let's simplify. I like haikus. Haikus are in compressed koans. So my 10-minute bell rang. So thank you for dropping in. And also, I really encourage you to come to the Facebook page and ask questions and comment and interact with this topic. And this is a great way to explore your koans, to ask questions about it, to get a name for it. If you can name your repeating dilemma as a game, you are far ahead in cracking that nut open. Thanks for dropping in.